Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. Liverpool have just drawn 2-2 with West Bromwich Albion at the Hawthorns in a game which was just annoying. You know, it's not a game that we'll come out of and be hugely angry about the result. It's not a game that's going to throw our season into jeopardy, fingers crossed, or anything like that. It was just a pain in the arse that we didn't win it. I mean, at the end of the day, Liverpool didn't exactly perform their best. I think it's safe to say that. And as much as all the talk before the match was, you know, we are going to go full strength. We haven't got one eye on Tuesday yet. All the focus is still on West Brom. The way the players play today, you could just tell that they everyone dropped by just one gear. You know, everyone slightly held their performances back, and it did feel like all of that was to do with having one eye on the Tuesday game. And, you know, on one day that might work. On one day, Liverpool don't concede those two silly goals at the end, and we come away with a fairly unspectacular win at West Brom. But unfortunately, it came back and it bit us on the bum today. And like I said, it's not a hugely bad result, and hopefully we should still be on course to qualify for the top four. If anything, it's just annoying that I feel like I've wasted about 2 hours of my Saturday having to watch that game, because obviously I always look forward to watching Liverpool play. We're a wonderful footballing team to watch. It's always great to watch the team that you support, and it's just a pain that we didn't win the game. But yeah, started off very, very well. I actually thought Liverpool got their tactics spot on early on in the game. Having thought about how West Brom stifled Man United, I thought Liverpool did really well to avoid getting themselves put in that same situation. The way that they basically attacked West Brom as quickly as we possibly could to ensure that they never had a moment to park their bus or anything like that. Because the problem that Man U had was, by the time they managed to get round to creating something, they've been prattling about with the balls so much in midfield that West Brom had set themselves perfectly to just clear any balls that ever came into the box. So Liverpool made it their prerogative early on in the game to create chances as quickly as possible, to get that ball forward and get it into the West Brom penalty area as quickly as we possibly could and put them under pressure when they didn't want it. And it worked really, really well. And we got that early goal. You know, obviously fantastic to see Danny Ings get his first goal in 930 days. It's been a really, really rough ride for him. I thought this was a massive game for him today because it's one of his first, it's only his second start under Jurgen Klopp, one of very few appearances under Jurgen Klopp, and also a rare opportunity he's got where he's starting a game and he's surrounded by the rest of the first team as well. Because often when we see Danny Ings play, it's in like those League Cup games or those Premier League games where players are rested. We don't see him surrounded by the other first team players. So it was always going to be interesting today to see how he fared in that kind of situation. He started off obviously quite nicely. It's a nice little finish from Danny Ings. He does well, gets in the right position at the right time, and I'm pleased for him. But at the end of the day, I think what really comes out of that performance for me and what's really telling is the miss that he makes near the end of the first half. Because to me, it just shows that Danny Ings doesn't quite have the versatility that Liverpool need from their centre forward. You know, one thing that I've noticed is, while he is a good finisher, he's only really got one kind of finish in his locker. He very rarely lifts shots. He always goes for that kind of placement, low into the bottom corners kind of thing. And you saw that Ben Foster exploited that when he had that chance late in the first half, because Ben Foster basically just lay down in front of the goal because he knew that's kind of how you stop a Danny Ings shot. And it's a shame for Danny Ings because, like I say, he works hard. He's done incredibly well to keep himself in the wrecking at Liverpool despite all those injuries and despite the fantastic players we have in that forward line. But he just strikes me as a player that's never quite gonna be good enough, which is a shame for him, but oh well. And yeah, the first half kind of slowly petered out from there on in after the Danny Ings goal. You know, like I said, we had a very good start, but we went off the boil pretty quickly. Again, I get the feeling like some of that is to do with having one eye on Roma. You know, we felt like the whole plan was to make sure we broke down West Brom early, and as soon as we did it, I think the players kind of thought, you know, there's no point doing it again and going 2-0 up. We can just kind of ride out this lead, and we kind of did that for most of the first half. There were a couple of scary moments, one where the ball flashed right across the face of goal. West Brom really should have levelled up there, and I feel like, you know, it kind of almost felt inevitable that West Brom were going to get back into the game at some point, because Liverpool were just so complacent in the way that they gave away chances. And I think the changes that were made in the back four today, there were just a few too many going on there, and it kind of helps that it means there isn't going to be a huge narrative after this game, I hope, about Liverpool's defence, because obviously only Van Dijk of the first choice back four actually started this game. I was just a bit disappointed to see that Gomez and Moreno didn't really step up for this match, and I think they are one of the reasons that Liverpool didn't necessarily attack very well all the way through the game, because normally when you have Alexander-Arnold and you have Robertson in those fullback roles, they know how to play as a fullback in the Jurgen Klopp system. They do it incredibly well. They get forward, they help out those attacks, and they facilitate those other forward players. And Gomez and Moreno just weren't really doing it today. You know, Gomez doesn't offer that much going forward. Moreno was getting into the positions, but he didn't seem to have many ideas. He wasn't getting into positions where he was actually threatening West Bromwich Albion that much. And that was just a little bit disappointing to see because, you know, Moreno has shown flashes of that in the past. Gomez has obviously been very good for a lot of this season, but it just feels like Robertson and Alexander-Arnold are just one level above. And it's kind of that whole thing about gears. The players were one gear below what they are normally at today, and Alexander-Arnold and Robertson are just one gear higher than those fullbacks that we had on show today. And it was disappointing. And then the first half, like I said, petered out a little bit. Second half pretty much started as the first half ended. It was really dull for quite a while, if I'm perfectly honest. You know, West Brom were not threatening at all, apart from the odd bit with Salomon Rondon getting in there. You know, he was threatening quite a lot. Whenever West Brom looked like they were going to get a chance, it often came through Salomon Rondon and his physical presence. He was causing Dejan Lovren problems. He was causing Moreno problems as well when he drifted out to that kind of side, and it was a little bit of a worry. Then obviously you've got the possible penalty incident with Danny Ings. I do think, yeah, it's a foul. It's certainly enough to take him down. It's just a question about whether or not if Ings hadn't been taken down, he would have got onto the ball. But in the grand scheme of things, when you look at the rest of the referee's performance, that is going to go down as a mistake in what was a very, very poor showing from Stuart Atwell, the referee. I mean, the other flashpoint as well, the moment when Hegazi not only brings down Danny Ings, which should be a free kick to Liverpool anyway, but then punches Ings in the stomach as well, which the referee then completely misses, and then gives the free kick to West Brom, which was really, really, really bizarre refereeing. And I mean, all the way through the game, you know, when you're thinking about how West Brom are going to look to try and capitalise on the fact that Liverpool will be pulling out of challenges, that they won't want to get involved in a physical battle, you've got to be aware of that as a referee, and you've got to make sure that West Brom don't exploit that in an unsporting way. And Stuart Atwell just didn't. He just ignored everything that West Brom were doing. You know, our players were getting absolute bits kicked out of them in that game. You've obviously got the Hegazi incident. You've got the possible penalty incident. There's another bit where Hegazi wins a header in the air and then just whacks Mohamed Salah in the face for no reason. Again, referee doesn't give it. And it was just baffling. You know, it was really, really bizarre. I mean, the standard of refereeing in this country at the moment, it's fairly well known, is appalling. It's really, really bad at the moment. Something needs to be done about it. Potentially VAR, but I think, you know, the personalities of the referees as well. It's not just the decisions they're making, but the way that they go about it is really, really worrying and really, really bad as well. So yeah, Stuart Atwell really didn't handle that game very well. I'm not going to blame him entirely for the loss, but I think he certainly didn't help in that he allowed West Brom to get away with a lot more than what they really should have done, and it stopped Liverpool from playing any sort of good game in that second half. But then obviously you do get the Mohamed Salah goal. It was a really, really nice goal. You know, the guy's just so cool in the area, the way that he carries those situations, the way that he comes onto the ball and you're thinking, okay, you've got to shoot here. He's getting close down. He's getting forced out wide. The goalie's coming out. But Mo Salah doesn't shoot. He takes that touch. He makes the chance even better for himself, and then he just lifts the ball over the goalie. I mean, it's stunning. He is literally just on a level above everyone else on the football pitch. I can't think of another player out there today, nor many other players in the Premier League, who would have the confidence just to, and it seems like such a fine point, but it does mean a lot, the confidence to take that second touch and somehow make what was already a clear chance even easier for himself. It is incredible, and it's fantastic that Liverpool have one of those players in their side who can make good chances even easier for himself and then finish them in the emphatic way that Mo Salah does. And obviously 31 goals now, level with Luis Suarez, level with Alan Shearer, level with Ronaldo in a 38 game season. I mean, we're all backing him now to break that record as well. Hopefully he breaks the record for a 42 game season as well, which currently stands at 34. That'd be fantastic. 41 goals for the season as well. It's just bonkers, the numbers that Mo Salah is posting at the moment, and it's fantastic. It's just so brilliant that Liverpool have got a player like that on their books. But yeah, lovely goal from Mo Salah, and then unfortunately Liverpool just throw the result in the bin at the end of the day. And it's really frustrating because I feel like there were a lot of factors that contributed. It wasn't like there was just one single moment where you can be like, okay, that's where we threw the game away. There were just the whole thing about all the changes we made with the back line going into the game. I think there were too many substitutions to mess around with the back line as well. I don't understand why Jurgen Klopp is fixated on bringing on an extra centre-back for a forward at these stages in games. He loves switching to that back three with the wing-backs so late in the game when Liverpool are under pressure, and quite often it doesn't work well. You know, we've seen it in the past. I remember it happening against Bournemouth last season as well when we conceded a late equaliser in that game after bringing on, I think it was Joel Matip to create a back three. We did it with Lovren today. It backfired again, and I just don't, it's just a little bit annoying. And I think that a few calls that Liverpool got wrong today, you know, and a lot of those calls were made with the Roma game in mind. You've got to take that into account. And like I said, this shouldn't mess up our season, whereas if we mess up the Roma game, that's the season over and done with. So I can get the thinking behind it, but it just feels slightly annoying that Liverpool maybe just went one mistake too far, made one little change too far, and we threw the game away as a result. And it's just annoying. And obviously the goals are poor goals to concede. They're set-piece goals. That narrative could potentially creep back in that Liverpool concede goals from set pieces too easily or anything like that. I think as Liverpool fans, we all know that's not the case. We all know that this game can kind of be passed off as a blip. It's just irritating is the bottom line. Today was a very, very irritating result. However, we do of course go on to bigger and brighter things on Tuesday night. Like I said, everything that was done today was done with one eye on that game against Roma in the Champions League semi-finals. So here's hoping that this game is basically Liverpool getting their dodgy performance out of the way, getting their mistakes out of the way so they can deliver an absolutely perfect performance against Roma in a couple of days' time. Until then, thank you guys very, very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button there if you're new around here. Check out some of the other videos that have been out on the channel over the past few days as well. Don't forget to follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter, and I'll be back very soon for the pre-match content for the Roma game. Bye for now.